Hi everyone, it's Sunflower Spirit here, and I'm here to do a pick a card reading. And I wanted to do a reading on how to cope with this sort of limbo, this sort of like unknowing that we all have right now. So I have pile number 1, which is the Spellcaster's Tarot. I have pile number 2, which is the Gilded Tarot. And then I have pile number 3, which is the Radiant Rider-Waite Tarot. So you can take a moment, pause the video, and choose your pile, and then we'll get started. Okay, this is for those of you who chose pile number 1 or the Spellcaster's Tarot. This is on the topic of how to cope with this sort of state of unknowing, this limbo state of unknowing. So let's see what cards you have. So we have the Hierophant, the False Prophet. You have the Three of Cups. You have the Two of Cups. You have the Ten of Cups. You have the King of Pentacles. And you have the Courage. And you have Guilt. So how can you best cope with this unknown here? I'm getting a lot about like friends and family, being around people, or if you can't be around people, trying to communicate with people as much as possible, trying to have social interactions. If you can't do it physically, like online, I mean, physical would be better, but I think just really taking time to appreciate your family, to appreciate the people that you have in your life. Um, yeah, I'm getting a strong sense to appreciate the people you have in your life. There's also a sense that you need to have some courage. You need to allow for the process. You're going through a process. We're all going through a process. Um, and so kind of like because I see this flower here and it reminds me of like, I don't know if you have ever planted anything, but I think it's so cool to watch the little plants grow out of the dirt. Like they'll first grow and you'll see like a little green thing, and you're kind of like, oh, is that really it? And then like the next time you walk by it, there is like a little sprout out, and then they grow and they keep growing and eventually grow into a flower, and it's just so fun to watch. And it's that process. So it's kind of like this growth process, this learning process. I do see you feeling stuck. I see you like struggling with your demons a lot. And that, being connected with other people, all of these cards are about connection with other people. So being connected with other people, like having that ability to, celebrate with others, to share your cup with another person, share what's on your mind, share what's on your heart. And universe is also telling you that you are supported. You are supported, and that you have to maybe focus on your material stability, your basic needs. Focus on getting those basic needs met. I'm also seeing we have the Hierophant, but this is in the Dark Night of the Soul Tarot. So it's a false prophet. So I think you might be going through something where your beliefs are changing. And this is very scary. This is why we have the courage. We have the courage to step out of what we know into something different. And so you might have been like very religious person, or hung out with a lot of religious people, or maybe not religious, maybe not spiritual at all. And now this is kind of like growing you into that. And so it's sort of like embracing this change, embracing this, um, because the Hierophant is about values. It's about like figuring out what your values are, and then, choosing which direction you want to go. So I would just be careful, you know, the things that you hear, the things that you read, not to follow like a false prophet, so to speak. And you could take that any way. I mean, there's lots of ways right now that you could take that. So, hopefully this was helpful for you. I do see like connection is key for you guys, pile number one. Connection is key. That is what is going to help you, kind of get, and also this growth process, having the courage to get through it. So hopefully that was helpful, pile number one. If not, you could check out the other piles. Thanks so much for stopping by. All right, this is for those of you who chose pile number two, or the Gilded Tarot. So let's see what we have. We have Six of Rage, Tyrant. You have the Eight of Swords. You have the Knight of Cups. This is on the topic of how can we get through this this difficult, this challenging limbo state, this not knowing what's going to happen next. You have Death. You have the Page of Cups. And you have the Tower. You have Mind. You have Rebirth. So how can you best get through this this time, pile two, of not knowing, a feeling in limbo? So I feel like if you chose this pile, I feel like you're really struggling because you may be dealing with some anger. You may be dealing with anger about how things are going. You may be dealing with like this huge upheaval that's causing all this stress, that's causing all this anxiety, and it's kind of like coming out in anger, or the people around you have been angry. Um, And I feel like it's this huge transformation. You're going through this transformation. I mean, everybody is. This has come out in pile one already, too. So I'm not surprised. But everybody's going through this huge transformation. This is like, yeah, like a rebirth, sort of. We have the death card, we have the rebirth card, we have the tower. Like, that's just, transformation. Um, so how can you help yourself? Well, it's finding joy in the moment. So kind of like trying to stay in the present, trying to keep yourself in the present moment. It's also expressing your feelings openly with someone, expressing with your partner, your friends, your counselor, anybody. And you might be feeling a little bit stuck right now. You might be feeling trapped, which this also came out in pile one, and I'm not surprised. But you need to recognize that you have power over your thoughts, because I'm getting a lot of thoughts for you. So don't let these thoughts get trapped. These cards all represent your thoughts. And so don't get trapped. Don't feel trapped with your thoughts. And I think that's kind of why there's this anger, is because you're feeling trapped. You don't know how to get out of it. It's like very uncomfortable, very, very uncomfortable changes going on right now. So you need to focus on your power, which is you have power over your thoughts. You have power over the things that you enjoy. Do something you enjoy every day. Find joy in the small things. Express yourself openly and freely. You know, be able to let people know how you're feeling, or let someone know how you're feeling. And even if you don't want to do that, you can always, I always tell clients to write it down, and then you can write down all this stuff that angers you, or that you're upset about, or that you're scared. All your emotions, just write it down. And then you can even burn it, and then you can throw away the ashes. Like, nobody has to know about it if that's how you choose, if that's how you choose to do it. Because I do see the thing with you is you're going to have to get out of your head, those of you who chose this pile. The reason why this has been so difficult for you, I think, is because you're really in your head. You have a lot of fear, you have a lot of anxiety. Um, I've talked to you guys before about how anger for me is a secondary emotion. So usually, like fear will be like your first emotion, and then you'll express it in anger because we don't really have an expression for fear. Um, we can't like release that in any sort of way. So that's why it comes out in anger. And so this is probably why you're angry, and you are going through this huge transformation. And this is like a collective, this is very collective energy. Like everybody is going through this right now. So, I think pile two, the key is focus on those things. What makes you happy? What fulfills you? How can you find that like childlike joy in your life right now? Because everybody has stuff that they like to do. You can do it. You can do it. I know it's hard, but that's what I'm seeing for pile two. So hopefully this was helpful. Hopefully it resonated. If not, feel free to check out my other piles. Thanks, guys, for stopping by. All right, this is for those of you who chose pile number 3 or the Radiant Rider-Waite Tarot. So let's see what cards you have. This is on the topic of how can you cope with this uncomfortableness of, I don't even know if that's a word, of this limbo state that we're all in right now. So you have the Dictator of Decay or Power Lust. All right. You have the Tower. Oh, that's so weird. That came out in the last pile. You have the Nine of Cups. You have the Eight of Pentacles. You have the Four of Cups. You have the Fool. You have Ripeness. And you have the Rebel. Okay. So for pile number 3, for those of you who chose pile number 3, how can you deal with this uncomfortable limbo state that we're in? Well, I see for you, like I've seen for the last piles, and I'm not surprised, is you're going through this huge transformation. There's a lot going on. There's a lot of disruption in your life. But what I see that's going for you, pile 2, is that you are kind of in this energy. I feel like you being optimistic is going to be key for you. Being optimistic, being able to recognize that, life is just a series of risks, and having that, that more like positive, optimistic attitude with that. We do have the Dictator of Decay, Power Lust. So I feel like what you might be struggling with is you're feeling powerless. I feel like you're feeling powerless because we also have the Four of Cups, and that's kind of like a complacency or a apathy, I guess you could say. And so you're not. Well, it's weird because, like, on one hand, you are kind of like, in that energy of like. Well, I think what it's saying is that, you're having this apathy, you're having this you're feeling like you're powerless to the situation. You're feeling like you're powerless to things, and that's because of this. That's because of these changes, this upheaval that's going on right now. You're wanting this sort of like more fulfilled feeling. You want to be fulfilled. And you're just working hard. You're trying to work hard. You're trying to just like focus on your job, but you do want this fulfillment. So I think finding things that fulfill you. I think, yeah, like maybe taking risks on things that fulfill you. Because I do see you are like nearing the end of a cycle for those of you who chose this pile. And this would be like a personal cycle, but it could also be like on a collective level because we're all going through similar things as a collective. I see you as sort of like We have the Rebel card here. This is like the Emperor card in the Rider-Waite Tarot. And so I see you like wanting to be in control. Yeah, like you're feeling out of control. You're just trying to, that's what this apathy is about. You're feeling out of control, but I see you like actually more in control than you think because it looks like, just focusing on the things that you do, focusing on your work, focusing on school, whatever it is you do. Um, and then recognizing that if you take risks, there's a possibility for this fulfillment too. Because I do see you very near to the end of a cycle. So maybe you're feeling like you've worked really hard for something, but it hasn't come into fruition. And you see how these apples are like ripe? They're like ready to pick. So that's kind of like it's like coming into fruition. And feeling I think like the way you're going to feel in control is by just maintaining your daily life, taking those small risks, taking risks, because I think you will get this fulfillment if you do take some sort of risk. I feel like, this tower energy is more kind of like an overall energy for you guys where it's like, yeah, all this chaos is going on around me, but I'm just working hard. I think you're more just wishing that you had more control over your life. And it looks like you do have control over your life. I think what you're getting confused on possibly is the control, what you're feeling out of control with is all this stuff that's going on around you. But for you personally, not collectively, for you personally, you are, these cards are showing me that you are in control of your life, that you keep doing what you're doing, keep doing, your daily, keep working hard, keep manifesting what you want to manifest, keep, you know, having these wishes, these fulfillments, thinking about it, taking risks to get to this fulfillment. Um, and you definitely are. You might have a different path than other people. It might look different, it might feel different, but that doesn't mean it's wrong. So, yeah, that's really good, pile three. Hopefully this was helpful. Hopefully it resonated. If not, you can feel free to check out the other piles. Thanks for stopping by. I will talk to you guys later.